Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them in today. We got a pretty interesting show for you guys here today that we definitely want you guys to stick around for. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So yeah, we're going to be talking about something quite interesting today here. As y'all know, Patric Beverley, the former Los Angeles Laker, was recently traded at the trade deadline. Now, during his time as a LA Laker, there was some interesting stories about him. When he first got there, I think it was during training camp, they asked him, what is it like to play with LeBron and Anthony Davis, and Patric Beverley goes, no, I'm not playing with them. They playing with me. All right, I just made it to the playoffs. They didn't. So, once Patric Beverley kind of started off that way, you already knew it was going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, some people who support LeBron didn't find that to be funny. People like Nick Wright they didn't like that whatsoever. And he lasted with them up until the trade deadline. He brought them a lot of energy. He brought them some defensive tenacity while he was there, but I think some people in Lakerland probably expected more out of Patric Beverley. And to that I say, what were you really expecting, right? Patric Beverley is not a guy that's going to give you 15 points a night, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. No, that's not the type of guy he is. He's going to play defense. A lot of his impact is not going to show up on the box score. He's going to give your team a lot of intangibles, something that he gave to the Clippers. But he does have a bit of a drawback, which is his height. At 6'2", so although he's a stellar defender that can guard ones and some twos, if you put bigger players against him, players like that are the size of like Luka Doncic, Kawhi, LeBron, and those guys, they can take advantage of him. Not because he's not a great defender, just because of the lack of height that he has. But as the season progressed, inevitably there was chaos in LA, right? And whenever there's chaos with the Lakers, usually what ends up happening is that there are a lot of storylines. It goes deeper than just a team playing poorly. I'll give you guys an example. At one point this season, the Clippers were going through a 6-game losing streak, right? With Kawhi Leonard there, Paul George was there for a bit of that. And there were no other storylines outside the fact that the team was playing poorly. But in the case of the Lakers, there was always another thing to kind of point to. And then this morning, while combing through the internet, I came across a video of Patric Beverley on his show, the Patric Beverley podcast, where he basically explained that, no, wait a minute, the Lakers didn't trade me. I actually requested a trade. But before we get into his comments, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let's get into the comments that Patric Beverley had to make here, and then we're going to come back and react to it. Take a listen to what Pat Bev had to say there.
This year has been very interesting, man. It has. It's been very interesting. And when we go throughout the segments of the next shows, I can really dive in deep and tell the viewers like what really went down in LA. Now I don't mean like cup of tea type of shit, but like to some people it can be that, Pat Bev got traded when in all reality it was like, oh, I didn't like what was going on. And let's find a better home for me. Not so that, okay, he ain't good enough. Let's get rid of him. All that shit was my decision. So you got to think, I'm making a decision that was my decision. They honor my request, but at the same time, honor my request. Now I'm sitting here without a home. You know what I'm saying? So it just hit a little different. But, I'm solid as they come. My mental toughness is strong as they come. I done been through, I done survived Chicago. I can survive a waiting period of, waiting for teams to call me and all that. But, it worked out. And for me, it always does. It always does.
So you said it was a request though.
Yeah, but we'll dive in that a little later.
All right. No, yeah, that is a nice, impending storyline for the Pat Bev podcast, which, we were kind of gifted this awesome new storyline.
Yeah. We'll dive in that a little deeper later on through the season when
So you heard his comments. Now, here's my kind of initial reaction to what he had to say. I was very surprised to hear that the Lakers didn't trade him, and in fact that he was the one to put in a trade request. That was a bit surprising to me. I wasn't expecting to hear that, and I'll tell you why. You seldom hear of players that go to play with the Los Angeles Lakers and then end up asking for trade. That really rarely happens. Why? Because number one, it's the Lakers. The biggest name for sure in basketball, at least right now, because the Knicks have not been doing very well. They've recently won a lot of championships, and they're home to some of the biggest stars the sport has ever seen, like Shaq, Kareem, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and the list goes on and on and on. And now LeBron James. Most people are happy to be there. And as a matter of fact, when Patric Beverley was initially signed by the Lakers, they asked him, a reporter, they're like, so what is it like to be a Laker now versus when you were a Clipper? And he said, there's a difference. This is Patric Beverley. He said, there is a difference. There's a real difference in the way that he's received in the city. That's what Patric Beverley said. So for him to then say, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like the way things are shaping up out here, and I want you guys to trade me. It makes me wonder something else, which is, could it have been something so egregious to him that he was like, you know what? I can't be here anymore. Let me give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. We all know this. There's certain people we're going to get along with, and there's certain people we're not going to get along with. There's some people we're going to rock out with, and there's certain people we're not going to rock out with, right? And most of the times, it really doesn't have anything to do with, oh, how much money does this guy have or how success. If you and a particular person or a particular group of people don't mesh, you're just not going to want to be around that group of people. It just doesn't really work. And sometimes that happens in sports. And it seems like for whatever reason, Patric Beverley didn't like the makeup of the locker room and what was taking place in there. And he was just like, you know what? This element right here that I'm a part of, I don't want to be a part of it. Now, he didn't say exactly what that is, but if you listen carefully towards the end, he did say later on in the season, he's going to really get into why he decided to leave. Because remember, he said before, it was more than basketball. But I was quite surprised to hear that, in fact, he was the one that requested a trade and it wasn't the other way around. So these are my thoughts and opinions on this. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.